As you may know, the Board of Appeals is the first formal level in adjudication of tax, rebate, and refund appeals in Pennsylvania. Did you know that the Board of Appeals offers customers the opportunity to request a compromise? Pursuant to the law, upon request from a customer, the Board of Appeals has the authority to consent to a compromise of the amount of liability for tax, interest, penalty, or additions administered by the department. This can be done if the customer submits the DBA-10 form with their initial appeal, which is available on the Board of Appeals webpage at revenue.pa.gov/taxappeals. There are two bases for the Board of Appeals to agree to a compromise: doubt as to liability and the promotion of effective tax administration. So, what does doubt as to liability mean? While the Board of Appeals will review the facts and circumstances for each individual taxpayer, generally, doubt as to liability will include situations with varying interpretations of the law, situations where the department failed to consider all evidence presented, and/or situations where new evidence is available to support a change. Let's review a situation that serves as an example of doubt as to liability. You or your business suffered a disaster where your books and records were destroyed in a fire. You did your best to accurately file your return. However, the Department of Revenue reviewed the return and issued an assessment disallowing any claimed expenses due to lack of supporting records. You are unable to reconstruct your books and records, but you can provide an explanation that justifies or approximates a reasonable reduction to a portion of your assessment. This would be a great example of doubt as to liability. It's important to know that there are some things that the Board of Appeals cannot compromise. Pursuant to the law, the Board of Appeals is not able to compromise denials of property tax rent rebate applications, denials of charitable exemptions, revocation of sales tax licenses, and appeals of taxes covered under the Gaming Control Act. Additionally, certain additional situations are not eligible for compromise. These include any compromise request requesting 100% relief, any hardship request that is based exclusively on a customer's financial situation or inability to pay, as this is usually a collections matter, if a taxpayer has not filed any Pennsylvania tax returns, and if a criminal prosecution is pending. There are a few important things to remember when you're submitting a request for a compromise. The Board of Appeals assumes that you are providing us with your best offer when you submit your compromise. This process does not include back and forth negotiation. If the Board of Appeals is unable to accept your offer, but feels the matter is close to reaching a compromise, it's possible that they will respond with a counter-proposal. This will only happen once, so failure to accept this counter-proposal will likely terminate the compromise request review, and the Board of Appeals will move forward with a decision on the merits of the issues listed within the appeal. Clearly stating your compromise offer on the DBA-10 compromise request form, as well as providing prompt responses to your hearing officer's questions, will assist the compromise process. However, it is important to note that the hearing officer will not advise you or your clients on the appropriate percentage relief on your initial compromise request. If you have already filed an appeal with the Board of Appeals and you have any questions about the compromise process, please contact the hearing officer assigned to your appeal. The opportunity to request a compromise at the Board of Appeals has been effective for many Pennsylvania taxpayers, as it has resolved thousands of appeal cases in previous years, and it will continue to do so in coming years.